What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I said I was going to do some sort of guide series to help the younger or newer player out, and what better way to start it than how I started Airsoft. Well, so the way I started Airsoft is totally different to the way I'm going to recommend. Obviously I've learned from my mistakes, but let's get into it. So when I was 16 I was in the army. I went through training with a guy called Gabs. Now Gabs was an Airsoft player and I was a paintball player. Now you can bash me in the comment section below if you want, but I'll admit Airsoft is better, hence why I play it now. But anyway, I went through training with Gabs when I was 16. We trained together and then eventually we went our separate ways. Kept in touch through Facebook. So when I was on Facebook one day I was just refreshing the page, you know, as you do when you're bored, and these pictures started popping up. It was a picture of Gabs as mate Jake Lacey on these armoured vehicles, you know, 50 cals, GPMGs, Gabs with his M4, you know, all these pictures, they look cool as fuck. They were from a Stirling Airsoft op at Stansted, I think it was. Anyway, I messaged Gabs and I wanted to know where he was doing this. So, spoke to him for hours, if not days, you know, I spoke on the phone, spoke on Facebook, and eventually I started building my loadout out from what he was giving me information wise. Now here's where I started different to what I'd recommend, and probably everyone else. I started getting my gear ready a year before I even played. Now it might baffle a few people when I say this, because yeah, what I was doing was I had a rough idea of what type of gear was going to work for me. So every month I was buying new gear, pouches, then the next month I'd buy a plate carrier, then a helmet. You know, I was just building and building on that loadout before I went to my first skirmish game. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing that, and here's why. So, I goes to my first skirmish game. I went solo. Baffles a lot of people. That newer players think you need this big secret, or you need like 15 players to go and play your first game. You don't. Get down and play on your own. You'll meet new people, like I did. So, goes the first week, ran alongside a few lads, got to know a few of them. Next week, goes again, knows more. Week after, and the week after that, starts to know more people, newer people, and eventually I got to know my lads raid. So going through Airsoft CQB, I started learning what was better for me. Gear that weren't working, I was ditching and switching it out for something new and trying something new. So obviously I wasted a lot of money to start with, because obviously some of the gear that I was buying didn't work. A lot of it's still part of my loadout now, but obviously a lot of it's changed. So that's why I'll always recommend, when you start, go and learn what works for you, go and find your style of play, and then progress through there. Anyways, so I meet the lads from Raid, started playing alongside them, eventually came part of the team, played at Fortress together, goes from there to Anzio Camp, over to the Stan, then Tack House. You know, we played at quite a lot of sites last year together. It's great being part of a team, because you can obviously car share, you can play with a team, you can attend events together, and you've always got someone to go with to the new event. So that's why I'll always say, guys, you know, if you don't be daunted about like going to the Airsoft on your own. Eventually you will meet people and you will meet new players and new mates. Anyway, so from the skirmish side I progressed into the milsim side, where you'll see me play a lot on this channel because I absolutely love it. Obviously back to my mate Gabs, got speaking to him, and he was kind enough to ask his team, and his team were kind enough to let me run with them, shadow episode in, and what an awesome op it was. Goes down to Gabs's, stays in his, lucky enough he put me up down there, so I travelled down, stayed in his house, and then we travelled to UCAP Sandpit, where my first game was, from Stirling Airsoft op Grandstand. You can see that on the channel. That op couldn't have went any better for me, you know. We had vehicles, we had boats, we had night vision, thermal imaging, you know. It was just brilliant op, especially for my first one. I had the boss team to run with. We rolled hard together, you know. It was brilliant weekend. Obviously we had the typical British weather, the rain, and we were unfortunate enough to be out the fob lying in the mud. But you know what? It was great. I enjoyed it. So from there, I goes to Stanta. Lucky enough, plays alongside them again, and then from there I started to know like Diablo, Black Scorpion, Cobalt, Grey Fox. You know, I started getting to know the bigger named milsim teams. Going from Stanta, I went to play Op 4 with Diablo and Black Scorpion. What an awesome weekend that was. If you're interested in playing Op 4, go and give it a go. It's absolutely brilliant. I had an awesome op with them, and I can't wait to play alongside them again. going from there I went to Warzone, where I started to convince a few of my lads, Raid, to play there. You can check all this out on the channel, guys, it's all there, all the footage is there. Eventually convinced a few of them to play Milsim and starting to get them hooked, so hopefully you'll see us regularly now at Milsims going together. So guys, I'm starting this guide series to help you guys out, to like obviously give you an insight at my mistakes and what not to do, and hopefully give you guides to help you make the right decisions and not waste your money like some of the times I have. Obviously a lot of the gear has worked for me, but obviously a lot of it doesn't as well. You'll see me switch my loadout regularly on this channel because I'm currently finding what works best for me. It's going to happen, you are going to learn what works best for you, and hopefully I can give you a little insight on that. Obviously everyone's opinion is different on this type of stuff, and I'll just give you my views. As always, if there's anything you want to see, guys, get it in the comment section below. I will try and produce them guides, and I will try and produce the videos for you. I'll try and do reviews. I know a lot of you have asked for certain gear that I've got to review, and I am in the process of doing it. I am only one person and I do have another life outside Airsoft. So I hope that gives you a quick insight to how I started Airsoft. You know, there's no secret to it, and as always guys, any questions, just feel free to ask, and I'll see you in the next video.